Hello class, today I'm going to be talking about the article called Turning to Space, Social Density, Social Class, and the Value of Things in Stores. The main idea is that social spaces directly relate to the material objects for sale within the space. Use space and possession territories to predict that as the social density of given space increases, inferences of the subject social class and income of people in that space fall. This research is the first to reveal the link between social density, status inferences, and object valuations. So what exactly is social density? Social density can be changed by altering the number of individuals per given unit of space. Social density is a major determinant of crowding, and there is evidence that it has more powerful effect on human response than spatial density, the number of interpersonal interactions that are likely to occur in a given space. For this article, we will be asking the question, will the number of people per square foot influence the valuation of an item in a store? Lower social density means higher valuation of a product. The consumer has a higher willingness to pay. An example of a high social density would be a grocery store, as you can see on the photo to the right. Grocery stores have more people, and therefore the items in it are viewed at a lower valuation. The opposite is also true. A designer brand like Gucci has a lower social density, which gives its products a higher valuation. There is a critical connection between social status, social hierarchy, power, and the products for sale. So, how do consumers react differently with different levels of social density? Studies show that reducing interpersonal distances from more spatial confinement, such as smaller aisles in stores, threaten a consumer's idea of their own uniqueness. This causes the consumer to want to take this power back by purchasing more distinct products. Stores with higher levels of crowding have been shown to actually decrease shopper satisfaction and even cause them to leave earlier than they normally would. Their purchases then become safer as shoppers choose comfort over distinctness. Territory as it relates to class. First, we have to understand territory so that we may understand how it affects different classes with social density. Territory is defined as achieving and exerting control over a particular segment of space. The greater the territory, the less competition, which means higher social status. To the right, you can see I put a photo of the king of the jungle, the lion, and a meerkat, which is also unfortunately the prey. Animals, just like humans, try to control areas and locate resources. Except for humans, these resources are power, status, and hierarchy. Now that we have understood territory, let's go over status, class, and hierarchy. In the United States, there are working class, middle class, and upper classes. All three of these classes have preferences of where they want to shop, and social density plays a huge role in this. In the United States, there are the working upper class and middle class. To the right, you can see photos that represent this. First, we're going to start off by talking about the upper class, or the high status shoppers. High status shoppers go to large territories. This means more social density. Less social density. If a shopper feels they have more power over the area, they will have a higher status. An upper class shopper will have more of both physical and physiological distance between themselves and others. This is because when someone presents themselves as upper class, those who are not on the same level have a feeling and instinct to give them more space. Higher power individuals show a natural instinct of less social density. Think of a celebrity, Kim Kardashian to the right. Middle class. The middle class has a desire for greater distinctiveness. This means they opt in for purchasing things that give off a higher status. The middle class will often put themselves in a position to get this distinction of more power. This is also called a greater willingness to pay. For an example of this, someone may be willing to splurge money to buy the newest and latest trend. The working class. The lower class actually has an affinity for greater socially dense places. This is because the places that are related to crowding have more benefits for the working class: price, resources, and more. The higher status individuals want to make clear that they are not to be confused with those of less power, means, and status, whereas the less fortunate may prefer dense social networks as a way of gaining power through the collectives. Distinction is thus a greater goal for those who desire to be perceived as higher status, whereas similarity to mass, others may signal mass solidarity. Just like I said before, an example of this would be someone who is middle class buys a Louis Vuitton bag or a designer Gucci purse or belt. This is because they want to come across as having more money, which there makes them have more power. Then that will give them a higher status, which means more resources and a larger territory. Product, valuation, and social density. Material objects are theorized as important aspects of territories, serving social, cultural, and individual level purposes. Social space gives meanings to objects to and through other people and things, including the marketplace. Consumers use people, things, and space to get an idea of a social situation. Territories, spaces, and products. Consumer views product in larger spaces with less social density as more valuable. This can be handbags, jewelry, and more. A great example of this would be a museum. To the right, you can see a photo. There is only one person, and the person in that photo is giving great space between all of the paintings and the statue. There is more space between yourself and a painting because it does have a high value, and when you go to a museum, it's very clear. The examples that were given in the case study showed that there were multiple different scenarios. The results show that when consumers saw and felt the presence of a less social density, the valuation of objects and products in the store went up. When consumers did not know what the store looked like in regards to social density, the valuation was skewed. Examples from my own personal life. In my personal life, I have been to designer stores where I felt low social density and understood that the things around me were expensive. I've also visited many grocery stores and places with higher levels of crowding, and I had a natural instinct of lower valuation of the products. Social density gives the store a frame. This gives consumers an idea of what objects are inside and what kind of territory they are entering. It could be the king of the jungle, or it could be the meerkat on the floor. Thank you.